Professional Project Management blog. In the previous videos, we have discussed who the project managers are and what would you need if you would like to become one of these guys. In those videos, I have outlined a possibility of taking the professional exams in order to enhance your knowledge of the industry. And today, I'm going to share my personal experience of taking and passing the Project Management Professional exam. I know that many of you are currently studying in order to take and pass this test, and therefore I hope in this video you would be able to grab and grasp a lot of important and necessary tips that would facilitate your study and will help you to pass the test successfully. So let's go! To begin with, let's clarify what PMP is. So, PMP or Project Management Professional is a globally recognized professional credential for project managers that is offered by the Project Management Institute. As you are aware, to qualify for PMP, you need to have a certain level of experience in background under your belt. Therefore, Project Management Professional certifies not only your knowledge and skills, but also your education, professional record, and a level of expertise. So, why would you need this certification? If you would ask me, well, honestly, and a shame on me, when I have decided to confirm my project management experience, actually PMP was the only cert that I was aware of. And by the way, among the organizations that I have been collaborating at this time, PMP was the most popular one. Although nowadays there are thousands of possibilities for project managers all over the world. Well, maybe we will touch based on these opportunities in other videos. However, and despite your personal choice, PMP would provide you a lot of propositions for earning this credential. Well, first in the list of pros for the PMP would be the new level of your career. As we have just mentioned, Project Management Professional certifies not only the knowledge and skills, but also your professional record, your level of expertise, and your level of education. Therefore, sometimes it would be simply enough just to provide a certification with no words. Besides, Project Management Professional certification is appreciated in multiple industries. As you may recall, project management is generic, cross-functional, and multi-applicable. Therefore, in every industry where project managers operate, PMP is appreciated and recognized. Another positive and actually one of my favorite things about PMP that it helps to shape your knowledge. Well, as you are aware, for taking the test, you are obliged to pass professional courses. Well, while earning your professional experience, you know that in many cases your decisions are made intuitively, and I would say that in these moments, academic touch might be missing. Therefore, while you are studying, the most curious thing is to match your professional experience with what you are earning during this course. And this is actually a great feeling because in these moments you are not just feeling that you are doing right, but you know it from the professional record. Further on, actually this is a big question: who wins more with your certification? Because for the company, having a certified professional with them is a great benefit and asset. Moreover, if they are working with the enterprise customers, because for some projects this might be a rigid criteria for having a PMP certified on board to qualify for a project. As a next great asset for the PMP certification, I would outline that this cert puts a certain level of reliability on you as a professional. As we have mentioned, to qualify for the test, you need to have not only the certain level of experience in your background, but also a certain level of relevant education. And if you do not know this yet, to maintain your certification, you will need to learn and study further. This cert confirms your dedication to your profession, and also this means that you are continuously and constantly working to enhance your knowledge as a project manager. Another amazing benefit that I would like to outline here is a great reward to your self-respect. Well, what would be better than being a candid professional in your industry? Therefore, once you pass the test, please praise yourself and celebrate this. Well, long story short, now let's look into the requirements for the PMP and let's define what would we need in order to qualify for the test. So, let's define what would you need in order to qualify for the Project Management Professional exam. And by the way, I would advise checking this out essentially as if for some reason you do not qualify for any of the required criteria, there is a huge possibility that starting your application for a PMP would be a waste of time. Therefore, let's discuss what do we need to comply with in order to be eligible for the Project Management Professional exam. So there are actually 3 general criteria we need to comply with. Education, professional experience, and professional education. So as for the education, this might either be a bachelor degree or a 4-year degree or a global equivalent, or this could be a high school diploma and again a global equivalent. And so that you are aware, depends on the education that you have under your belt. There is a certain level of variance present regarding the required number of years for your professional experience. So, for instance, if you do have a bachelor's degree, then in this case, Project Management Institute requires you to have at least 3 years of the non-overlapping project management experience. And on the other hand, if you are going with a high school diploma, then the number of years required for taking PMP will be increased proportionally. And in this situation, PMI would require at least 5 years of the project management experience for taking the exam. And the third criteria, which we have already touched base before a little bit, this is a professional education. And again, there are 2 options present actually. So either you are taking these professional courses now for passing the test, for applying for the test, or you probably already have a CAPM certification in your record. So CAPM, which is Certified Associate in Project Management, is a little bit lower professional certification in the tiers of the opportunities that are provided by the PMI. However, so that you are aware, for taking the CAPM, you anyway is required to have a professional education in the record for applying for the certification. Therefore, either you already have the cert or you are taking a professional courses at this moment for an opportunity to apply for a project management professional certification. So now we know that you qualify for applying for the PMP exam at least by 2 criteria, and I'm referring to the basic education and to the professional experience. Now it's time to think about the third criteria, and I'm referring to the professional project management education. Here are also a lot of nuances present, and I'm gonna share them with you right now in order to make sure that you will pick the relevant and right course to get prepared for the exam. So first thing is that you need to earn 35 contact hours in order to qualify for the application. And here I guess I need to clarify the difference between the contact hours and PDUs. I bet you heard about PDUs, which is Professional Development Units. Well, frankly speaking, There is less to no difference between videos and contact hours. The only difference that I have noticed is that until you are a PMP Certified Professional, you are not allowed to earn videos. Therefore, the number of hours that you are going to obtain with the course will be called contact hours. And by the way, so that you are aware, 35 is not just a simple number. This means that you will have to dedicate to the professional education at least the whole business week of your time. And additionally to this, many courses together with the theory proposing tests and tasks and practice that should be completed in order to get a cert of the course completion. And you know, the great thing here is that PMI doesn't restrict people on whether the course should be offline or online. This means that you are welcome to choose the most convenient way which would suit you best. Well, our next thing here to pay attention to is to make sure that the course is built according to the latest PMBok guide. Well, actually, why do you need this course? Is to get prepared for the test, and therefore you need to make sure that the course is prepared according to the latest available version of the relevant documentation. As you may know, PMI from time to time updates the PMBok guide and to upgrade its version because they add in new information in this. Therefore, if the course is built according to the older version, it would simply be outdated and useless. Further on, while picking a course, make sure that the course provider is a PMI Certified Training provider, and PMI has certified that their courses are applicable and comply with their standards. Otherwise, this would be a simple waste of time and you will not be able to apply this education to your PMP certification application. Well, you see, further on a couple of more tips, so make sure to check the reviews. And while checking feedbacks, try to find out what percent of people who have taken this course passed the exam. This will help you to define how much useful this course is. Another thing here, what I would strongly recommend to do is, if available, check the preview of the course. You are going to spend a lot of time with this coach and you need to make sure that you like him personally and that you understand every word that he is going to tell you throughout of this course. And one more tips, I guess this is more for people whose native language is not English. I would also recommend taking a course in English because, well, the mother language of the certification provider is English too, and this means that all the terminology and all the key information was initially prepared in English, which may have some impact during it is being translated to your native language. So to facilitate your further professional career and to avoid any mismatch in the translation, if this is possible and you feel you can take the course in English, take it in English. Now you have the course that corresponds to the important criteria which we have just outlined. At this moment, it is extremely important to plan your strategy of studying. Well, what I'm referring to is that you need to enable your project management skills and plan your professional education like your personal project. It is important to maintain consistency and you need to have a rigid deadline. Well, unless you have a timeline and a plan for study, this undertaking might last for ages, so don't do this, really. And the great advice was that I got in the very beginning when I started to plan my education is not to put a deadline too far. Well, put realistic timeline. So let's say if you feel that you are able to dedicate, let's say, 2 hours daily for your professional education, then plan as you do for projects. Consider the time that you are able to dedicate to this education, consider possible risks, and set a realistic deadline. And do not put it too far away, really. For instance, if you do, by the end of the education, you will simply forget what was in the very beginning, and all the period of time that you have spent on this education might become a simple waste. Don't do this mistake. Another important tip here is to test yourself. Well, while preparing your personal plan of the professional education, consider a possibility of testing yourself in advance and find the resources that you may utilize in order to prepare yourself for the test. You may know brilliantly all the terms, formulas, and other stuff that you are going to obtain from the course. However, if you will not test yourself in advance, there is a possibility that you may not be able to apply your knowledge correctly during the real exam. Therefore, my advice here, find trial tests. Well, get the tests and try yourself every spare moment that you have. This could be done in a public transport, while waiting in the line, in the bathroom, before the bedtime. Just find a moment and test yourself. And very important here is to find the real duration test, the 200 question test, and to do this a couple of times before the exam, just similar as the real exam and the live. So, allocate 4 hours of time, sit in the room with no distractions, and work. And while testing yourself, always aim to achieve at least 90% of the correct answers in your test. Well, we have managed to touch based on a lot of details by now, and finally I have decided to split this video into two, because there is still a lot of important information waiting for us ahead. In the next video, we are going to discuss how to complete your application, what to do if you have fallen under an audit, and I will tell you what to do because my application was chosen for an audit and I have passed it successfully, how to schedule a test, and what is waiting for you during the exam. And by the way, I will let you know how to maintain your certification further. So subscribe now if you haven't done this yet, and tap the notification bell to be informed about the next video instantly. And let me know in comments if you have already started preparing yourself for the exam and if there are any other questions that you are after. Cheers!